The world had long since forgotten the name Shelby Oaks. A place swallowed by silence, left to rot under gray skies and dust storms. To most, it was nothing more than a ghost town, a stretch of abandoned streets, boarded windows, and whispers carried by the wind. But to Mia Matthews, it was the last place her sister had ever been seen alive. Riley's face still haunted every missing poster Mia had ever stapled to streetlights and cafe bulletin boards. The photo, captured just weeks before she vanished, showed a bright smile, messy hair, and that determined glint in her eye. The same look she always had when chasing something she shouldn't. Riley had been the lead investigator of the Paranormal Paranoids, a small YouTube group that hunted ghosts and urban legends. They weren't famous, but they had a following. Their last upload was titled, Exploring Shelby Oaks, the Forgotten Town. It was the video that ended everything. That night, 12 years ago, Riley went missing. The footage had been uploaded automatically. A shaky camera, flickering flashlight beams, muffled laughter from the crew. But halfway through, the tone changed. The laughter died. Riley's voice turned low, urgent, almost frightened. Then came the sound, something like scraping, echoing through the hollow streets. A child's whisper. Then screaming. The screen went black. The internet tore it apart, claims of hoaxes, viral marketing, and faked deaths. But Mia knew better. She had seen the look in her sister's eyes in that final frame, right before the feed cut out. That wasn't acting. That was terror. Now, 12 years later, Mia's obsession had become her only reason to keep breathing. Her apartment in Cincinnati was a shrine to Riley's disappearance, maps pinned with red strings, newspaper clippings yellowed with age, a corkboard covered with printed screenshots from that cursed video. Every night, she watched it again, hoping to notice something new. And then, one stormy evening, something did change. Mia sat cross-legged on the floor, the glow from her laptop flickering against her pale face. The timestamp on the video read 13:04. Right before Riley vanished. But this time, there was something different, a faint figure in the background, standing at the far end of the street. A shadow she swore had never been there before. It was tall. Thin. Featureless. She froze the frame, heart hammering. Zoomed in. The pixels warped, but the outline was unmistakable. Something was standing behind Riley, watching her. Her phone buzzed, jolting her. Unknown number. Mia hesitated before answering. Hello. A raspy voice on the other end whispered, "You shouldn't be watching that." Mia's pulse spiked. Who is this? Static. Then the same whisper again, lower this time, "You'll bring it back." The line went dead. Mia's breath caught. Her apartment felt smaller suddenly, colder. She looked back at the frozen frame on her laptop screen, at the shadow watching Riley, and felt something stir deep in her chest. A memory. A name she hadn't thought of since childhood. The Black Man. He had been their childhood nightmare, a make-believe monster Riley invented to scare her. They used to whisper about him when the lights went out. A tall figure with no face, who lived in the walls and waited until you forgot his name. Then he came back. Riley had once told her, "He doesn't go away, Mia. He just waits." Mia shut the laptop hard, the sound echoing in the empty room. Sleep didn't come that night. She dreamed of Riley standing in the middle of Shelby Oaks, her flashlight flickering, mouth open as if screaming. Behind her, the same tall shadow stretched across the cracked pavement, reaching toward her. When Mia woke, her phone was ringing again. Another unknown number. She answered, her voice shaky. "Mia Matthews?" A man's voice, nervous. "My name's Daniel Carr. I worked with your sister on her last investigation." Her stomach twisted. "Daniel? I thought everyone from her team was dead." A pause. "Not dead. Not yet. His voice trembled. But I think it's coming for me too. What's coming? The thing she found in Shelby Oaks. It's real, Mia. And if you keep digging, it'll find you too. Before she could speak, the line filled with static, and then a single, hollow sound. A gunshot. The call disconnected. Mia stared at her phone, paralyzed. Her reflection in the black screen looked pale, ghostly. Then her phone buzzed again. A message. A single image. The same street from the video, cracked asphalt, dead trees, the Shelby Oaks town sign barely hanging from its post. But this time, scrawled across the sign in something dark and wet, were two words. Welcome back. Mia's breath caught in her throat. The room seemed to tilt, shadows stretching along the walls like reaching hands. After 12 years of searching, she finally had a lead. And something deep inside her whispered the truth she didn't want to hear. Shelby Oaks had been waiting for her all along. The road to Shelby Oaks felt longer than Mia remembered. Endless stretches of cracked asphalt cut through barren fields, where rusted farm equipment sat like skeletal remains. The deeper she drove, the quieter the world became. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Her car's radio, tuned to static, whispered fragments of broken transmissions, like voices beneath the static, faint and pleading. She tried to ignore them, but every few miles, she thought she heard her name. Mia. She turned the knob off, silence swallowing her whole. It had been 12 years since anyone set foot in Shelby Oaks. Officially, the town had been condemned after a chemical spill. But the truth was murkier. Locals said people who entered the area came back, wrong. If they came back at all. Now, Mia was going there willingly. She kept replaying Daniel Carr's final words in her head. If you keep digging, it'll find you too. The gunshot that followed still echoed in her memory, sharp and unnatural. She'd told herself he might have faked it, that maybe it was some elaborate prank, but she didn't believe it. When she reached the edge of town, a faded sign greeted her. Welcome to Shelby Oaks, EST 1874. Someone, or something, had carved into it with jagged letters, don't look for them. Her headlights swept across abandoned houses leaning against one another like drunks in the dark. The air was thick, heavy with rot and dust. Time had stopped here. Mia parked near what used to be the town square. Her hands trembled as she stepped out, flashlight cutting through the dark like a blade. Somewhere in the distance, a loose piece of metal clanged, echoing through the empty streets. She started recording on her phone. Riley, if you're out here, she whispered. I need you to show me something. Anything. Only the wind answered. Mia followed the same path from her sister's final video, the narrow main street leading toward the abandoned schoolhouse. Her boots crunched over broken glass and gravel. The air smelled faintly metallic, like rust and old blood. Inside one of the houses, she saw movement. Just a flicker of something in the window, a figure standing still in the dark. She froze, raising her flashlight. The beam hit nothing. The window was empty. Her heart pounded. Get a grip, she muttered. You're just tired. But then, from deep within the town, a sound drifted through the air, soft, rhythmic, like a child humming a tune. The melody was familiar. A lullaby their mother used to sing when they were small. Mia's breath hitched. Riley. She followed the sound toward the schoolhouse. The door hung off its hinges, groaning as she pushed it open. Inside, her flashlight caught on murals painted by children long gone, smiling suns, stick figures, fields of flowers. The colors were peeling, eaten by mold. Then she saw it. The same symbol from Riley's last recording, drawn in chalk on the wall. A spiral with 3 lines cutting through it, forming something that looked like an eye. Mia ran her fingers across it. The chalk was fresh. Suddenly, a loud thud echoed from upstairs. She flinched, flashlight trembling in her grip. "Hello?" No answer. Just silence. Then footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Coming closer. She backed away, her breath quickening. "Riley, if that's you, please." A door slammed above her. Dust rained from the ceiling. She forced herself up the staircase, each step groaning under her weight. The upper hallway stretched ahead like a throat. Doors lined both sides, all slightly open. She stopped at the last one, where faint light spilled through the crack. Her shaking hand pushed it open. Inside, the air was ice cold. A video camera sat on a tripod facing the wall. Next to it, a small table covered in Polaroid photos. Mia's heart twisted as she picked one up. It was Riley. Smiling, holding the same camera. Another photo showed Riley in the same spot, but her expression had changed, confused, eyes darting to the side. The next one, her mouth was open in a silent scream. Behind her, a black shape towered, faceless and enormous. Mia dropped the photo. The camera on the tripod suddenly whirred to life, the red light blinking. "No," she whispered, backing away. Then the static began. The screen flickered, showing Riley's face, frozen mid-scream, eyes wide and unblinking. The sound of her voice came through distorted, layered over with whispers. "Mia, it's still here." The flashlight flickered, then died. Darkness swallowed the room. Mia fumbled for her phone, her breathing loud in the silence. Something shifted in the corner, slowly, scraping against the floor. She turned on her phone's light just in time to see a tall figure unfolding from the shadows. Its limbs were too long, its head tilted unnaturally to the side. No face, just smooth, black skin that seemed to absorb the light. Mia froze, unable to scream. The creature took one step toward her. The floor creaked beneath it. Then, from the camera's speaker, Riley's voice whispered again. "Mia, don't look at its face." The thing lunged. Mia screamed, stumbling backward, knocking over the tripod. The camera shattered. She bolted down the stairs, out into the cold night, gasping for air. When she finally reached her car, she locked the doors and started the engine with shaking hands. Her headlights illuminated the road ahead. And for a split second, Riley stood there. Smiling. Then she was gone. The wind howled through the dead town as Mia drove away, tears streaming down her face. But deep down, she knew the truth. She hadn't escaped Shelby Oaks. It had followed her. Mia barely remembered the drive back. The road out of Shelby Oaks seemed to stretch on forever, warping in the headlights like a looping nightmare. She didn't dare look in the rearview mirror, not after what she'd seen. She was terrified of what might be sitting in the back seat. When she finally reached her apartment, the sky was beginning to pale with dawn. She parked crookedly, ran upstairs, and slammed the door behind her, locking it 3 times. Her chest heaved with shallow breaths. She should have gone to the police. But what would she say? That she saw her missing sister's ghost and a faceless figure in an abandoned town? They'd lock her up. Her hands were trembling as she set her phone on the table. She hadn't stopped recording when she fled the schoolhouse. Maybe, just maybe, the footage could prove what she saw. She plugged the phone into her laptop. The file loaded. The video played. The screen showed her flashlight beam cutting through the dark hallways, her voice whispering Riley's name, the old chalk symbol on the wall. Then came the moment, the sound of footsteps, the camera powering on, the whisper of Riley's voice through the static. But something was wrong. The voice wasn't coming from the camera. It was her own. Mia froze. Her recorded voice whispered, "Mia, it's still here." Her stomach twisted. She hadn't said that. She knew she hadn't. The footage glitched, colors bleeding across the screen. The final frame showed her face distorted, mouth stretched too wide, eyes black pits. Then the video ended. Mia's apartment went silent. The air felt heavier somehow, like the room itself was holding its breath. And then, the tapping started. Soft. Rhythmic. Coming from the wall behind her. She turned slowly. "No," she whispered. "Not again." The tapping grew louder. Like long fingernails dragging against plaster. She backed away, heart pounding, and pressed herself against the opposite wall. Then came the whisper. "Mia." Her blood ran cold. The voice was unmistakable. "Riley." Mia's breath hitched. "Riley? Is that you?" The whisper came again, closer this time, almost inside her ear. "He's coming." The light bulb above her flickered violently, then burst. The room plunged into darkness. Mia fumbled for her phone, turning on the flashlight. The beam caught the far wall, where something had begun to form. The chalk symbol. The spiral with 3 slashes. Drawn slowly, line by line, in something thick and dark. Blood. Mia stumbled backward, knocking over a chair. She bolted into her bedroom and slammed the door, locking it. Her breathing came in ragged gasps as she sat against the wall, clutching her phone. She dialed a number she hadn't called in years, Dr. Alvarez, her old therapist. The woman had helped her cope with Riley's disappearance when she was younger. The line clicked after 2 rings. "Mia. It's been years. I think I'm losing my mind," Mia stammered. "Something's happening. It followed me from Shelby Oaks." "What followed you?" Mia hesitated. "I don't know. A man. No, something shaped like a man. I saw it there. It's here now." The therapist's voice softened. "Mia, you've been through trauma. Sometimes the mind." "I'm not imagining this," she shouted. "There's blood on my wall." Dr. Alvarez paused. "Okay. Listen to me. You said Shelby Oaks. That town, there were stories, even before Riley. I had other patients who. What? They described the same thing. A tall, faceless figure. Always watching. They called him the Black Man." Mia's grip tightened on the phone. "You think he's real?" "I think belief gives him power," the doctor said quietly. "If you feed the fear, it grows. If you look for him, he'll look back." A soft creak interrupted her. The sound came from inside the apartment. "Mia?" She didn't answer. She slowly turned her head toward the bedroom door. The handle was turning on its own. "Mia, what's happening?" The door creaked open an inch. Then another. From the darkness of the hall, something pressed against the crack, a long, gray hand, the fingers impossibly thin, nails blackened and cracked. Mia dropped the phone, scrambling backward onto the bed. The door opened wider. Through the narrow gap, she saw a tall shadow stretch across the floor, reaching toward her feet. The voice came again. Not Riley's this time. Low. Inhuman. "You looked for her. Now I've found you." The door slammed shut with a deafening bang. The lights flickered back on. The room was empty. Mia sat there shaking, staring at the door, her pulse hammering. Her phone lay face down on the floor, the call still active. She could hear Dr. Alvarez's voice faintly through the speaker. "Mia? Are you there? Mia, say something." She picked it up with trembling hands. "He's real," she whispered. "The Black Man is real." Then the line filled with static. Through the distortion, she could swear she heard Riley's voice again, faint, pleading. "Mia, he took me too." And just before the call ended, another whisper joined hers. A man's voice, soft and cold. "She's not your sister anymore. The phone went dead. Mia sat frozen in the silence, staring at the wall where the blood still glistened in the spiral pattern. For the first time in 12 years, she realized she might not be searching for her sister anymore. She might be following her. Mia didn't sleep that night. She couldn't. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the same image, Riley's pale face frozen in that distorted video frame, her mouth open in a silent scream, the faceless shadow towering behind her. The words, "You looked for her. Now I've found you," looped in her mind like a curse. By morning, the walls felt closer. The air thicker. She hadn't eaten or showered. Her reflection in the bathroom mirror looked like someone else, hollow eyes, shaking hands, veins blue and pulsing. She turned away. When she returned to her desk, her laptop screen was on. She hadn't touched it. A folder blinked in the center of the screen. /Riley_archive/. Her heart stopped. She hadn't seen that folder before. Not last night, not ever. And yet, it was there, like something had planted it while she wasn't looking. With trembling fingers, she opened it. Inside were 6 video files, labeled only by dates. The last one matched the night Riley disappeared. Mia hesitated, then clicked the first. The video opened to the familiar face of her sister. Younger, full of energy, camera balanced in her hand. "All right, guys," Riley said, smiling into the lens. Day 1 of the Shelby Oaks investigation. Locals say nobody's lived here since the chemical incident. But I think something else drove them out. The recording was raw. Behind her, Daniel and 2 others from the Paranormal Paranoids joked as they unloaded gear. Then Riley said something that made Mia's blood run cold. "This place feels wrong. Like, it remembers me." Mia paused the video, heart pounding. Riley had never mentioned being there before. Not once. She opened the second video. This one was darker. The team looked uneasy. Riley's voice was quieter. "We heard it again last night," she said. "The humming. It sounds like a child's lullaby. Same one Mom used to sing. I think it's following us." The footage ended abruptly, cutting to static. Mia's stomach churned. The humming, the same tune she'd heard herself in the town. She played the third video. The team looked different now, sleep-deprived, frightened. Daniel argued with Riley. "This isn't ghosts, Riley," he said. "It's something else. I saw it watching from the street. No face, just standing there." Riley's voice trembled. "Then it's real. The stories were true." "What stories?" Daniel demanded. Riley hesitated, then looked into the camera. "When we were little, Mia and I used to talk about a thing called the Black Man. She said she dreamed of him living in the walls. I think," her voice broke. "I think he's from here." Mia froze the frame. The image warped slightly, static creeping along the edges. Riley's face distorted, eyes darkening. Then, faintly, someone whispered, "She remembers." Mia yanked off her headphones, shaking. No. No, this can't be happening. But the folder was still open. The fourth video was waiting. She clicked it. The camera showed Riley alone, sitting on the floor of a dark room. Her face was pale, her voice trembling. "He's not a ghost," she said. "He's something older. He doesn't want to be seen. Every time I record him, the footage changes. Like he's rewriting it." She turned the camera toward the wall, revealing a crude drawing of the spiral symbol. "He says it's a door," Riley whispered. "He says we opened it when we started remembering." Suddenly, the image glitched, Riley's face twisting unnaturally, her mouth opening too wide. Her voice layered with static, then deepened, unnatural. "He remembers you too, Mia." The video ended. Mia slammed the laptop shut, her pulse roaring in her ears. "No," she whispered. "This isn't real. It can't be real." The apartment lights flickered. The air turned cold. And then, from the hallway, came the unmistakable creak of footsteps. Slow. Measured. Coming closer. Mia held her breath, clutching her phone like a weapon. The sound stopped just outside her door. A faint whisper seeped through the keyhole. "Mia." She stepped backward. "Riley." The whisper grew clearer. "You need to finish watching. He wants you to see." Something tapped the door. Once. Twice. 3 times. Then silence. Mia stood frozen for what felt like hours before she finally dared to move. She turned the deadbolt and pulled open the door. The hallway was empty. But on the floor, directly in front of her door, sat a VHS tape. No label. No dust. She picked it up with shaking hands. The plastic was cold. Wet. As she turned it over, she saw words carved into the casing, scratched in jagged letters. "Watch me." Her stomach knotted. Her laptop didn't have a VHS player, but in the corner of her apartment, under the shelf, was an old box of Riley's things, her old camera, notebooks, and a broken handheld camcorder. Beneath it, a dusty VCR. Mia plugged it in, inserted the tape, and pressed play. The screen filled with static. Then, faintly, Riley's voice emerged. But she wasn't speaking to the camera. She was whispering. To someone else in the room. "Please," she said, her voice breaking. She didn't mean to remember. "Don't take her too." The camera turned, slowly, toward the corner of the room, where something impossibly tall loomed. The static thickened until the screen went black. Then, in white letters, words appeared. "You're next, Mia." The screen cut to black again. Mia stared at her reflection in the blank TV, her breath ragged. For the first time, she wasn't sure if Riley had vanished. Or if she'd been taken. Mia woke to darkness. Not the ordinary kind, the comfortable, forgettable kind that comes with night, but something thicker. A living dark. She could feel it pressing against her skin, breathing with her. The air felt wrong, heavy with static. Her television was still on, but the screen was blank, glowing faintly gray, as if something had been recorded but refused to play. For a moment, she wasn't sure where she was. The room didn't look right. The corners stretched too far. The ceiling pulsed faintly, like it was breathing. Then she remembered. The tape. Riley's whisper. The words burned across the screen, "You're next." Her body jolted with panic. She reached for her phone, dead. The clock on the wall had stopped. Time itself seemed to be holding its breath. "Mia." The voice came from the other side of the room. Familiar. Broken. Her throat tightened. "Riley." Silence. Then, faintly, from behind her bedroom door, "He's coming." Mia backed against the wall, eyes darting toward the hallway. The door handle began to turn. Slowly. Deliberately. The wood creaked open, inch by inch, and the hallway beyond seemed to stretch into a void. The light from her TV flickered across the floor, casting a trembling shadow that didn't belong to her. It was too tall. Too thin. The black man. Mia's mind screamed run, but her body wouldn't move. The figure didn't rush toward her, it only watched, its smooth, faceless head tilting slightly to the side, as if curious. Then, in a voice that wasn't human, it spoke. "She looked for me first." Mia clutched her chest. "What are you?" The shadow moved closer, though it never seemed to walk. One moment it was at the door, the next it was inches away. The temperature dropped to freezing. "I was forgotten," it whispered. "But your remembering made me real again." Its head tilted. You remember her, don't you? Riley's name caught in Mia's throat. Where is she? The black man's faceless head turned toward the TV. The gray static shifted, forming an image. Riley, sitting cross-legged in the same room, her expression hollow. Help me, Riley whispered, though her lips didn't move. Mia stumbled forward, tears stinging her eyes. Riley. Please, tell me how to find you. She's between, the black man said softly. Between the walls, between the breaths, between the living and what's left behind. The room began to warp. The walls pulsed, veins forming under the paint. The spiral symbol appeared on the ceiling, dripping darkness. Mia screamed, covering her head, but the voice didn't stop. She opened the door. You kept it open. Now it can't be closed. Mia fell to her knees, sobbing. Take me, then. Just give her back. The black man leaned closer, its smooth head inches from hers. You already belong to me. The world flickered, like an old film reel skipping frames. Suddenly Mia was no longer in her apartment. She was standing in the middle of Shelby Oaks. The air buzzed with insects. The sky hung low. Unnaturally still. Buildings loomed like corpses. The spiral symbol was everywhere, painted on doors, carved into trees, burned into the dirt. A whisper surrounded her, echoing from every direction. Mia, come find me. Riley. Mia turned, her flashlight flickering to life. Ahead, down the street, she saw a figure. Her sister. Pale, trembling, barefoot, wearing the same clothes from the night she vanished. Mia ran toward her. Riley. Don't move. Riley turned, her eyes hollow and black. He won't let me leave. Mia stopped short. Who won't? Behind her, the air cracked. A dark fissure tore open in the ground, spilling shadows that writhed like liquid smoke. The black man emerged, rising from the void. Riley screamed. He's inside you now. Mia stumbled back, heart slamming in her chest. The world around her flickered again, Shelby Oaks dissolving into her apartment, then back again, both realities overlapping. The same symbols now smeared across her own walls. She grabbed Riley's arm, but her hand passed straight through her. Riley, no. Riley looked at her with tears in her eyes. You shouldn't have remembered me. Then she was gone. Mia fell to the ground, sobbing. Her hands were bleeding. The world pulsed like a heartbeat. The black man stood over her, silent, still. The voice came from everywhere and nowhere. She remembered first. But you believed. What do you want from me? The shadow's shape seemed to stretch across the sky, devouring the horizon. I want to stay. Then, suddenly, everything went black. Mia woke up on her living room floor, gasping, drenched in sweat. Morning sunlight poured through the blinds. Her phone buzzed beside her, alive again. One new message. No number. No contact name. It contained a single image, the Shelby Oaks schoolhouse, its windows dark and empty. And in the doorway, two figures. Riley. And herself. Mia dropped the phone. Her reflection in the dark screen smiled back. But her reflection's eyes were black. Mia didn't know what day it was anymore. Sunlight came and went, but it felt meaningless, like time had lost its shape. Every clock in her apartment blinked 12. Her phone refused to hold a charge, her reflection whispered when she wasn't looking, and the shadows on her walls moved when she didn't. She was breaking apart. She could feel it. Since watching the cursed VHS tape, the world had begun to rot from the inside out. The line between dream and waking had dissolved completely. Sometimes, when she blinked, she saw Shelby Oaks instead of her living room, the abandoned houses, the cracked streets, the symbols carved into the ground. And sometimes, when she looked down at her own hands, she saw Riley's. That morning, she woke to find her fingernails caked in dirt. Her hair tangled and damp with what smelled like mildew. In her half-conscious haze, she thought she heard footsteps pacing outside her door, slow, deliberate, familiar. Then a knock. 3 times. Always 3. Her heart thundered. She didn't move. Didn't breathe. The knock came again, harder. Then, from behind the door, a voice. "Mia, open it. Please. It's me." Her eyes filled with tears. "Riley?" The voice trembled, softer now. "You have to help me. He's almost done with me." Mia pressed her hand to the door. "How?" "Tell me what to do." A pause. "Then, you already know. You've seen the door. The spiral." Her pulse pounded. The symbol had haunted every corner of her nightmares. "If I open it," she whispered, "will I get you back?" Riley's voice dropped to a whisper that sounded nothing like her. "You'll let him through." Mia froze. The voice on the other side of the door shifted, low, layered, wrong. "Let me in." The lights exploded. The bulbs shattered, glass raining down. The apartment went dark except for the faint flicker from her laptop screen, though she hadn't turned it on. On the display, a video was playing. It was her. Mia on camera, sitting exactly where she was now, staring into the lens with vacant eyes. "What is this?" she whispered. The on-screen version of herself smiled faintly. "You're remembering it wrong." Her stomach twisted. Remembering what? How it ended. The version of her on the screen tilted her head. "You never left Shelby Oaks, Mia. You died there." The walls pulsed. The shadows deepened. "No," Mia whispered, clutching her head. "That's not true. I left. I came home." Her reflection on the screen smiled wider, teeth too sharp. "You brought him home." The apartment floor began to ripple like liquid. The spiral symbol crawled across the carpet, twisting beneath her feet, seeping into her skin. Mia screamed, stumbling backward. She grabbed the laptop and hurled it across the room. It shattered, sparks bursting. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, a voice behind her, "You can't destroy what's already inside you." Mia turned slowly. The black man stood in her kitchen, tall and motionless. The space around him seemed to bend, swallowing light. She backed into the corner, trembling. "Why me? Why Riley?" It tilted its faceless head. "Because you saw us when you were children. You believed first. Belief makes things live. You killed her." It stepped closer, smooth as liquid shadow. "No. I kept her." Mia shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I want her back. You can't separate what's already joined." The lights flickered violently, the room flickering between 2 worlds, the decaying apartment and the ruins of Shelby Oaks. Mia could see herself standing in both, 2 realities overlapping. One version crying. The other smiling. "You're not real," she whispered. "I am now," the black man said. "And soon, you won't be." Its hand reached out. Long, gray fingers brushed her cheek, cold enough to burn. The world convulsed. The walls melted away. Mia screamed. And then she was standing in the middle of the Shelby Oaks schoolhouse again. The chalk drawing surrounded her. The spiral symbol glowed faintly on the floor. And in the center of the room, sitting cross-legged in a circle of ash, was Riley. Mia ran to her. "Riley. It's me. Please." Riley looked up slowly. Her eyes were black voids. Her smile was wrong. "You shouldn't have come back." Mia fell to her knees, clutching her sister's hands. They were ice cold. "We can stop him. We can close the door." Riley tilted her head. "There's no door left to close. You are the door." The ground shuddered beneath them. The spiral burned brighter, twisting outward, cracks spreading through the floorboards. From below, the darkness began to rise. The black man's voice filled the room. "Two sisters, one mind, one memory. You can't tell which one you were anymore, can you?" Mia's vision blurred. Images flashed, childhood bedrooms, laughter, hiding under blankets from imaginary monsters, the humming lullaby. Then the night Riley vanished. The screaming. The shadow. And suddenly, Mia saw herself. She saw her own body in that video from 12 years ago. Standing where Riley had been. The flashlight trembling. The scream that ended everything. It wasn't Riley who disappeared. It had been her. Mia's mouth opened in a silent cry. The realization crushed her lungs. The black man leaned close, his voice echoing inside her head. "Welcome back to Shelby Oaks." The world split in two. The spiral consumed her. And everything went black. The air was cold and still. Mia opened her eyes to darkness. Not ordinary darkness, the kind that swallowed sound, memory, and time. She was lying on a cracked linoleum floor, the faint smell of rot seeping through her nostrils. When she pushed herself up, her hands came away wet with something thick and black. Her voice trembled. "Riley?" A flicker of movement to her left. A silhouette, swaying. Her sister stood there, half illuminated by a faint, pulsing red light coming from the far end of the room. Riley looked the same as the day she vanished, same jacket, same torn jeans, but her skin was grayish, and her hair clung to her face as if she'd been pulled from water. "You remember now, don't you?" Riley whispered. Mia nodded slowly, breath hitching. "It was me. I went missing. I died there." Riley's lips quivered, and a faint smile cracked through the mask of sorrow. "We both did." Mia's stomach twisted. "What do you mean?" The red light pulsed faster, and with each flash, the room shifted. The peeling wallpaper dissolved into mold-covered boards. The furniture melted into dust. The ceiling seemed to vanish, replaced by a black, starless sky. "We never left Shelby Oaks," Riley said softly. "We've just been, replaying it. Over and over. The day we tried to find the truth." Mia's pulse thundered. "Then what's happening now?" Riley turned her head toward the glowing red light. It came from an old camera, one of the paranormal paranoids recording rigs, set up on a tripod in the middle of the decayed schoolhouse. The lens flickered like an eye blinking. "It's recording," Riley said. "It always was. It never stopped." Mia stepped closer, her body trembling. "Recording what?" "Our deaths," Riley murmured. "Our fear. Our souls. It's been broadcasting for years. Every time someone watches, they feed him." The black man's voice whispered from the shadows, "They believe. They remember. They make me real." Mia spun around. The shadows moved. Faces flickered in the dark, dozens of them, viewers, watchers, subscribers. People who had stumbled upon the Paranormal Paranoids channel, who watched the footage long after the group vanished. And now their faces were watching her from inside the dark. "What do you want from us?" Mia screamed. The shadows pulsed like a heartbeat. The black man emerged again, towering, faceless, his form splitting and twisting as if made of liquid smoke. "You made me. You fed me. You told the world I wasn't real. So they looked. They searched. And now I have them too." He pointed one long, fingerless hand toward the camera. "They're all inside now." Mia's head filled with whispers. She saw flashes of other people, strangers in bedrooms, holding their phones, watching the cursed video. Their screens flickering. Their eyes blackening. Their mouths opening in silent screams. Riley clutched Mia's hand. He spreads through sight. Through belief. Every time someone looks for us, he finds them. The black man leaned close. And you're my voice. Mia stumbled backward. No. He stepped closer. You will tell them. You'll make them listen. And when they do. He smiled without a face. They'll come home. The floor cracked open. The spiral symbol glowed beneath her feet, red and pulsing like a living wound. Riley's grip tightened. You have to fight him, Mia. I can't. You have to. You're still part of the living world. You can end the broadcast. Mia's mind was unraveling. The camera turned toward her on its own, the lens widening like a black hole. A low hum filled the air, a digital whine that grew into a scream. Riley shouted, "Smash it." Mia ran toward the tripod, grabbed it, and lifted the camera high above her head. The lens showed her reflection, her face flickering between her own and Riley's, then the black man's, then something else entirely. End it, Riley begged. Before it spreads. Mia screamed and slammed the camera into the ground. The light burst. The sound died. For a moment, silence. Then, nothing. 2 weeks later. A new video appeared on the Paranormal Paranoid's YouTube channel. No one uploaded it. No one could trace the source. It was titled, "The Last Broadcast, Shelby Oaks." It showed a dimly lit room. A woman sat before the camera, trembling. She looked like Mia, but her eyes were dark, and her voice was wrong. "Riley's gone," she whispered. "I stopped him. I think." She paused, looking off camera. Then smiled faintly. "But if you're watching this, it means he's found a new way." Static filled the screen. The image warped. Then, faintly, behind the distortion, another voice whispered, "Say my name so I can see you." The video cut to black. Comments flooded in. People said they heard whispers in their homes after watching. Some said their mirrors moved. Others claimed they saw a tall figure in the corners of their videos when they replayed it. By the end of the week, the channel vanished completely. But a new one appeared in its place, an exact copy, under a different name. Shelby Oaks Live. A live stream, always running, showing nothing but a dark room and a faint, flickering red light. Every few hours, a voice could be heard whispering softly through the static. Sometimes it was Riley. Sometimes it was Mia. And sometimes, it was something else. Something waiting for you to watch. Something that smiles when you do.